My name is Beth Kepler, 504 Central. I'm gonna read my statement tonight, rather than, out of it. My statement is as follows. Why bother amending, introducing, and passing ordinances or requiring zoning permits if we are not going to enforce them? Why have a land use board, a master plan, and pay the exorbitant professional salaries that we do if we're not going to follow through fairly, equitably, and lawfully? Why grant variances by resolution if we're not going to enforce them when the legal contract between the borough and the homeowner is violated? Selective enforcement is unacceptable. Our code department is a costly, bloated paper tiger. Everyone can watch and listen to the audio, video surveillance camera footage for themselves on my YouTube channel under my name, Beth Kepler. On the February 14th and 20th videos, you will see Rich Davidson, Pam Valentine, Ted Bianchi, and Bill Young. I'm here to inform residents how the code department, under the leadership of Pamela Valentine, director of our community development, has betrayed us, lied to us, and weaponized this town's ordinances against us, and why every single homeowner in Bradley Beach should be outraged and demanding answers. Last August, the code office ordered an illegal condemnation placard be placed on our garage. They stated this violation order was based on the false statement repeated in 3 separate emails that acting code officer Ted Bianchi had inspected our garage. We presented security surveillance camera footage, and it proves that Ted Bianchi never set foot inside of our garage, not once. Not Ms. Valentine nor Mr. Bianchi ever produced a written report of the findings of his inspection as is required by law. When we finally forced the truth out, they quietly rescinded the illegal placard with 0 conditions, requirements, or any corrective action whatsoever required on our part, a silent admission that the entire exercise was a sham. Then this February, a few weeks ago, the same 3 individuals involved in the illegal placarding of our garage last fall, based on a fraudulent inspection, targeted us again. This is because they were allowed to get away with the illegal garage placarding based on a lie of a fraudulent inspection that never happened. This time, they were emboldened and went even further. On February 14th, RE/MAX agent Rich Davidson, working for the seller of 214 Fifth Avenue, was caught in the act, dead to rights on our security video camera, cutting with a power saw, moving and reconstructing with an air nail gun, and destroying our fence, all without a required zoning fence permit, without a complete certified 2-scale property survey, and without our knowledge, authorization, or consent. Rich Davidson can be seen and heard on video in his own arrogant words, telling the plumber who was helping him, quote, "I hope this will suffice and we can get around the legal notarizing side of it." That is a clear, direct, explicit, on-camera confession that he was premeditatedly, intentionally, knowingly, and deliberately breaking the law. The cut fence was left unstable and caused an estimated $1,200 in property damage. We did the right thing. We reported it to the Borough Code Office on February 19th. So what did the Code Office do? They sent Bill Young with an 8-foot ladder to climb up, peer into our backyard like a peeping Tom, snap pictures of our yard, and then issue a violation to us for the exact damage Rich Davidson caused and the exact same violations about our garage, again, that we had just resolved a few months earlier. When confronted about both the bogus garage violation in October and this fence violation in February, the borough quietly rescinded both because they were baseless, without merit, clear acts of weaponized government in retaliation for us daring to speak out critically against the municipal government or its representatives. Kim Humphrey, Leonard Guida, Larry Fox, Meredith DeMarco, and Greg Ferenbach are all gone, and that's good. However, the residual disease is still here. The same officials who lied about our garage and who protected Rich Davidson, are still walking the halls of the borough with impunity. And here is what should make every one of you seethe with anger. Rich Davidson is getting special treatment. Not only does the code office refuse to enforce its own fence ordinance against Rich Davidson or the seller he represented, it appears they coached Davidson how to get around being cited because of a technicality which can later be seen on video an hour after the inspection had concluded, deconstructing the reconstruction originally performed February 14th on video, thus absolving them of being issued a summons in response to our complaint of unpermitted fence reconstruction. If Rich Davidson is the listing agent for a house bordering your property, beware. If he needs to cut a fence, move a boundary, or get around the legal side of it to close a deal, you can be sure this borough code department under Pam Valentine has proven it will look the other way and then punish you for complaining by mailing you a violation via certified mail return receipt requested, courtesy of you, the taxpayer. We gave you video and audio timestamp surveys and emails. The choice was made to protect Rich Davidson and punish the victims who spoke up. Mr. Cannon stated in a letter to us, preliminarily, I've determined that this dispute over the fence is a private civil matter insofar as it does not involve public property, rights of way, nor any interest. As such, you will need to obtain personal counsel and avail yourself of civil remedies to address any alleged encroachments or fencing on your property or your neighbor's properties. The borough does not adjudicate private property disputes. The borough only enforces local property code standards. End quote. This is not a civil dispute or exclusively a code and zoning enforcement matter. This is a human resource and a criminal matter. Variances are legal contractual agreements between the borough and a property owner. When these variances are approved by borough resolution, if violated by the homeowners, it is not a civil dispute. There is an obligation on the part of the borough to uphold that covenant. This is government abuse, selective enforcement, and weaponization of government against residents who dare to criticize and condemn. Through this process, we've been repeatedly pleaded with to get an attorney and take it to civil court. What that does is silences me. It hides their bad actions from you, absolves them from any accountability for their actions, and then asks the residents to pay for the revolving door of lawsuits that emanates from lack of enforcement of ordinances and failure to defend variances when violated. There's no accountability in that. There's no change of process. They commit the bad acts, the borough gets sued, the residents pay taxes, increase, rinse, wash, repeat. Enough. We will not stay silent. We will not let this be swept under the rug like it was with the Fox administration. The residents of Bradley Beach deserve fair, equitable, and consistent enforcement, not a protected class that permits for retaliation against us, critics of the conduct of certain borough officials and representatives, and reporting those behaviors and actions to the appropriate oversight authorities. To the council and the mayor, the ordinances listed on tonight's agenda don't matter worth the paper they're written on if the corruption and the criminals are still allowed to remain. We've provided this borough with audio and video proof to support what needs to be done. Mayor Gubitosi, it's time to clean house, please, once and for all. We deserve better than Lion Larry's leftovers. Thank you.
Thank you. Obviously, I think what needs to be said here is these are Ms. Kepler's accusations and you're entitled to your perspectives. We've turned these questions over to our legal counsel and they're reviewing them, but I would just caution everyone to understand this is one side of a story and our employees and perhaps others will have, their side of that story.
May I respond one thing? I just want to let you know, to reiterate, it's not just allegations. The videos are on a YouTube channel, a public YouTube channel that anybody can see under my name, Beth Kepler, BETHKEPLER, and they can see the videos that law enforcement, the council, and the code have had the opportunity to see.
Thank you. Are there other comments or questions? Yes, sir, Mr. Davidson.
Yes, Rich Davidson, 304 Fourth Avenue. I'd just like to rebuttal Ms. Kepler's comments. This was brought to her attention many times. One, I did not cut her fence. I was there to allow access of a contractor. She received ample notice that this was gonna happen. She never responded to Jeff Beekman, the attorney for the buyers, and to Keith Arcamano, the attorney for the estate, on her accusations, on her hidden camera and eavesdropping, which, by the way, is illegal in the state of New Jersey. This was brought to her attention also. Besides a possible defamation lawsuit, she mentioned that I was also there overlooking the fence, which actually it was a code enforcement officer of Bradley Beach. All her accusations was brought to her attention, denying the fact that it was me in any of these cases. However, here she is tonight reinforcing this. So one, it's a flagrant lie. This was properly brought to her attention. She sent an email to the estate. I don't want to get into the real estate aspect of it, that provide a survey, the fence can be removed, there was no boundary line dispute, can put it on the lot line. After that, she refused to respond to anybody. So whatever accusations, she has a track record of throwing stuff against the wall without any support, without any attorneys. Nothing has ever transpired to be truth. There's no merit to anything. I don't want to go back, but if I recall past counsel, she accused Larry Fox of racketeering. She accused our late chief of police of planting a listening device in her bathroom. So I'm apparently the fall end of this track record of false accusations. So that being said, I just want to clear my name. I don't know what her problem was. I never spoke to her in my life. But again, I'm not gonna sit idle and not defend myself. And after tonight, I think I will take the next step and bring into legal representation to shut this down. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Other comments or questions from the audience? Anyone on Zoom? Okay, seeing no one, oh, yes, sir, Mr. West, you snuck it in there.